We are going to talk about duality today. You have probably heard this term thrown around in many different ways. For example, as an adjective, like good and evil are dualities or opposites. But what is duality? What is it really? So let's start at the beginning with a very simple example. If you look at the letters that make up the word good, if you take away the first letter, we get ood, which sounds like good. It is only one letter, but it is a complete opposite. That is an example of duality. Duality means that two things together make a whole, and the absence of one makes the other come into existence. In that example, without the letter G, good does not exist. So when we say good and evil are dualities, we mean that they both depend on each other. Without evil, we would not know what good is. Therefore, they are dependent on each other. They coexist and cannot exist without each other. Now you can apply this to many different things. When you go on a diet, you usually remove something from your diet. This also applies to your spiritual diet, your spiritual nourishment. Many people believe that removing something from their lives will bring them happiness. Maybe you have decided to stop drinking alcohol or stop eating meat or whatever. You think by removing this thing from your life, you will become happier. You will reach enlightenment. You will feel better about yourself. You will be healthier, etc. Let's say you decide to stop eating sugar. And when you do this, you may notice that over time you do feel better about yourself. You feel stronger, more energetic. You may think that by removing sugar from your diet, you have become a better person. But what if I told you that you did not actually become a better person? You just became more aware of the taste of food? Now don't get me wrong. This is a very good thing. This is progress. But what I'm trying to say is that you did not become a better person because you removed sugar from your diet. You just became more aware of what you are doing. So it's not so much about adding something to your life, but taking something away, removing something from your life to make room for something else. And what you are left with is the awareness of what you are actually doing. And by becoming more aware of what you are actually doing, you can become more conscious. You can learn more about yourself. And this is why duality is important. Because when we remove something from our life, we become more aware of ourselves. We become more conscious. Now, there is another way to look at duality. You see, everything in our lives is all about balance. Everything is about being in motion, and duality is a part of this motion. Without duality, nothing can evolve, nothing can grow. There is no movement, there is no change. So everything in this life comes in pairs of opposites: light and dark, hot and cold, high and low, active and passive, male and female, etc. And these are called dualities. Now, here is where it gets interesting. Do you think we are living in a world of dualities? Well, the answer is yes and no. Yes, because when we look around us, we can clearly see all these dualities: high and low, hot and cold, light and dark, etc. But the answer is also no, because none of these things are actually real. They only seem to be real. They are just illusions. For example, consider a tree. A tree has leaves. The leaves have different shades of green. Now ask yourself, does the tree actually have the color green? The answer is no. Green is just a name we give to a certain wavelength of light. We say this is the color green, but the tree doesn't know what the color green is. All the tree knows is that it is alive. The tree has roots, and it needs water from the ground and carbon dioxide from the air. The tree also has chlorophyll, which allows it to use sunlight to make food. But the tree does not know what the color green is. The same goes for all the other dualities: hot and cold, up and down, etc. These are just names we give to certain experiences. They are just labels. They are just part of the game. They are just part of the illusion. The real world is beyond all these labels. The real world is beyond all these dualities. The real world is pure consciousness. So now let's go back to the question. Are we living in a world of duality? The answer is yes and no. Yes, because when we look around us, we can clearly see all these dualities. But at the same time, none of these things are real. They are just labels. They are just part of the illusion. Let's take the example of hot and cold again. Can you feel hot without feeling cold first? Can you feel cold without feeling hot first? No, you cannot. You can only feel hot or cold in relation to something else. There is no such thing as absolute hotness or absolute coldness. There is only relative hotness or coldness. Now, let's apply this to our everyday life. Why are we always comparing ourselves to other people? Why are we always competing with each other? Why are we always trying to be better than someone else? Why are we always trying to achieve something? Why are we always trying to get more money, more fame, more power, etc.? Why are we always looking for something outside of ourselves to make us happy? Why are we always looking for something to fix our problems? Why are we always looking for something to complete us? The answer is because we have forgotten who we are. We have forgotten that we are already whole. We are already complete. We are already perfect. But we have been conditioned to believe that we are not enough. We have been conditioned to believe that we need something else to be happy. We need something else to be complete. We need something else to be fulfilled. But this is not true. We are already complete. We are already perfect. We are already whole. We are already enough. We don't need anything else to be happy. We don't need anything else to be fulfilled. We don't need anything else to be complete. We don't need anything else to be loved. We don't need anything else to be accepted. We don't need anything else to be validated. We don't need anything else to be successful. We don't need anything else to be free. We are already free. We are already successful. We are already loved. We are already accepted. We are already whole. We are already perfect. We are already enough. And this is the truth. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, how can we be free if we are still living in this world? How can we be free if we are still bound by our bodies? How can we be free if we are still bound by our minds? Well, let me tell you this. Freedom is not something you find outside of yourself. Freedom is something you find inside of yourself. Freedom is a state of mind. It is a state of consciousness. You are already free. You are already perfect. You are already whole. You are already enough. And this is the truth. And when you realize this, when you wake up to this truth, when you become conscious of this truth, then you are truly free. Then you are truly happy. Then you are truly fulfilled. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.